Hey guys, Raven Kyle from The Plagued Raven. I'm going to be doing a giant FAQ video of questions that have been asked over the years, and especially after the landing of the album. Now, it's all improv. I haven't even read half of these questions. I've just copy and pasted a ton of them from Inbox and wherever, all over my YouTube and whatnot. But, yeah, so it's going to be a long video. I'll start from the top. How old are you? I'm 21 years old. Where are you from? I'm from Newcastle, Ontario, Canada. Is your real name Raven? No, my last name's actually Raven. My first name's Kyle. I switch it around for my music for lots of reasons. For one, it separates my fans from, like, friends and, like, the few fans that I do have, but from, like, family and friends and whatnot. I prefer to go by Raven. So if you want to stay on my good side, Raven's a better name. It just sounds so much cooler, too. And The Plagued Raven's kind of like an alter ego of mine, so it just seems more fitting to go by Raven. How long have you been playing guitar? I've been playing for 11 years. And I'm 21 now. So, yeah, I started at 10 years old. What inspired you to start guitar? My dad's actually been a musician. Like, just a rocker. He used to be in, like, bands growing up and stuff, and I used to always want to go down there and watch them jam and whatnot, and I used to go visit him every other weekend, and he used to play Tool and whatnot, and yeah, I think Tool, like, hearing him play Tool was what really got me into it. My first song I ever learned was Ladderless. What inspires you in general? Believe it or not, not really music. I listen to a lot of, like, ambient music, so, yeah, I guess a lot of stuff without percussive element, if it was music, and aside from that, really just, like, random things, like, thinking about stuff. It's kind of weird, thinking about stuff, even, like, pictures of, like, I don't know, just really cool pictures from, like, top photographers. Even of, like, places, like, cool, like, mountains and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff inspires me. Yeah, not so much musical. I don't really take in much musical inspiration. Would you ever start a metal project? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I'd be open to the idea if it was, like, with the right people. It would have to be somebody that, like, I look up to and I think is, like, a seriously wicked guitarist. Aside from that, I don't think I would start one on my own. I would have to kind of be, like, invited or, like, a mutual agreement to start one with somebody pretty big, like one of my idols. Would you ever collaborate with any other musicians? I don't know, maybe just female music, or female vocalists, honestly. I think that's, like, the only thing I would actually want to associate myself with, well, associate The Plagued Raven with. Because when it comes to, like, guitars and bass, I've kind of got everything covered, and the only people that I would kind of, like, let do anything on The Plagued Raven would, again, I guess just be somebody that I really looked up to, like one of my idols. I'm going to add that question, actually, for later. Idols and music. Yeah, just female vocalists, just because I think they're the only thing that can really blend with my music that I can't take care of. I'm very, very, like, egocentric and selfish when it comes to my own music. I'm a very, very DIY person. There's another question. Yeah, I like to take care of everything on my own, so probably not for the most part. Unfortunately, I can't sing like a girl, so that's the only thing I'm open to. Is it true that you don't know any theory at all? No, I literally don't know any theory, like flat. The people who've been playing guitar for 5 days, if they've started any theory, you're already further than I am. I don't even know a C chord, D chord, nothing. I can't even. Yeah, like, it's bad. It's really bad. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily, like, a bad approach, but, yeah, it's very ignorant to theory. And I'll explain that later on in another question that I read, but, yeah, no theory whatsoever. Literally nothing. Do you play any other instruments than guitar or have any interest in starting one? No, just bass, honestly. I used to diddle around on piano, but that was about it. I definitely wouldn't call myself a... Actually, no, we have a drum kit too. I'm like an okay drummer, but again, I wouldn't call myself a drummer. To a pretty basic caliber. What kind of music do you listen to? A lot of ambient stuff these days. Stuff without any percussive element, just because it's pretty soothing, and that's the stuff that really like hits you hard. I find for me, it's pretty like emotional and like captivating, submersive. Sorry, just got lost. Why do you wear that mask and scarf? What does it mean, and what does the Plagued Raven mean? How did you come up with that? I actually came up with the Plagued Raven when I was 14. It was just, I used to be like a metalhead. I mean, a good friend of mine growing up. So we used to look for all like the brutal shit names, you know, all that like typical metal shit. So I came up with the Plagued Raven, just thinking like, ah man, that sounds metal. It's fucking heavy, sweet. Let's do that. Let's stick with that one. And then as I grew up, it actually came more relevant because it wasn't actually about like a raven that was plagued, like physically plagued anymore. Now it was about psychological, like turmoil in its entirety. Well, it doesn't even necessarily have to be turmoil. I guess just anything psychological, really. So the raven is actually plagued with anything psychological you guys can pick, whatever you perceive it as. But yeah, it's became pretty relevant over the years. Then the mask. And the scarf. I've always been a really cinematic guy, so that was like, it just felt totally right. Like I had to have some sort of like alter ego or get up. And yeah, that was like extremely fitting. It's a plague mask and whatnot. Where did you get the mask? I got the mask from Etsy.com, made by a guy named Tom Banwell. Paid like a hefty price tag, like $280. Yeah. Will you ever have tabs for any of your music? No, definitely not. Unless somebody else will tab it for me and I'll pay them or something, because I can't tab for the life of me. I think I've tabbed like 2 things ever and it failed terribly. How do you get those luscious curls? It's just good genes, man. Do you get nervous on camera? Sometimes. Not. I'm not nervous right now. I get more so nervous when I know that it's got to be like a one-take thing. Like when I was shooting like the Valkyrie video and stuff, which is actually the next question. Like that was pretty nerve-wracking because like you're out there and you can't choke. You gotta be on it. There's no like room for mess-ups and stuff unless you're okay with being out in the cold, like, you know, doing that stuff. So that's about it. Actually, but I do find myself having to take a lot more extra takes, like when I'm recording a riff or whatever. I feel like the camera definitely gets me choked up a little bit. Where did you film the Valkyrie video? Just here in Newcastle, just in a forest behind my house in January, something like that. Yeah, it was snowing. That was a pretty cool video. It's done by an old friend of mine just down the street. We don't talk anymore. Tell us about your photography setup year. You shoot with a Canon T2i, a default 18-55mm, and then a 50mm flat 1.8 aperture. I haven't done anything with the Plagued Raven with that lens, though. Everything's just been done with the Canon T2i and the 18-55mm. And I edit everything in Adobe Lightroom 4, and that's it as far as that. I've got more lenses and whatnot, but it's not even really relative. What scales do you use? No, I don't even know what scales I use. Again, I don't know any theory, so I literally just noodle, man, which I'll get into more. How did you do your album cover for Virulence? I actually took that photo. Well, my buddy Gabriel took it, but I set everything up. All he had to do was literally just press the button. But yeah, I took it. I edited it. Who are your idols in music? These days, everyone's probably gonna say Tosin like right off the beginning, like, oh man, you're like a rip off of Tosin, blah blah blah. But believe it or not so much, man. I think I've listened to the second album once through. I haven't even listened to the third one all the way through. I can't even. Oh, never mind. The Joy of Motion. That's it. Yeah, the first one I slammed that album into the ground. Though that's when I was into like all that kind of music. I would still definitely consider him one of my idols, though. A lot of his clean playing. Jakub Zatecki or Zatecki, however he says his name. Yeah, that guy's an absolute monster. Ollie Steele from Monuments has some like wicked riffs. Who else? John from Monuments. You know, those guys aren't relative to my music at all, but yeah, those guys are really cool. I think that's about it, really, as far as my actual idols go. I guess Plek. Maybe Plek. He's like an ambient guy. He doesn't actually even play any instruments, but yeah, he's really cool. I think that's about it as far as like other musicians go. Got lost again. What is your approach to guitar and writing music? It's basically like if you just gave a caveman a guitar and just said, play. That's it. And that's the kind of approach I took to it. Like there was no anything involved. It was literally just raw passion and just having fun. Whenever I would play guitar, which is pretty much all the time, I would play. And just come up with, I would just noodle. I've played, I think, like 2-3 covers in my life. Besides from when I was a kid, I used to play a couple covers here and there. But, yeah, no covers whatsoever. Literally just sit there and just noodle. Just put my fingers in random places and come up with random patterns that I think sound cool. And then just mash them together. If they're in the same key, from which I can hear, I don't even know what keys I'm in or anything. And, that's it. Yeah, so like there's no actual like structuring to anything, to any of the album, or it's literally just mashed together. It's extremely unprofessional and untraditional, but it works for me. It's the approach that I like doing, and I feel like I'm getting from A to B very efficiently without any theoretical knowledge. What bands, musicians would you say influence your playing? So this is kind of relative to a couple of questions back. That's really hard to say. I don't mean to sound arrogant at all, like not one bit, but I kind of feel like I sort of pioneered a new like subgenre of music, almost, sort of. I don't know, but I haven't really heard anybody that sounds relative to me as of yet. I guess the closest thing I've heard to me is really just Tosin's clean playing, I guess, which I probably stole from him actually, but yeah, I guess maybe something like jazzy, maybe, I don't know. Other than that, nothing really, at least not that I know of. I don't focus on taking in any musical influence, like at all, or like utilizing anything from other musicians. Like I'm strictly self-taught. Like I have not focused on anything. I don't even watch like videos of other players to learn anything, like random little licks or tips, like technique tips or anything. Nothing. I just do it. I remember you playing a very particular tuning. What is it, and what is your reasoning behind it? From lowest to highest on the 7th string, which is what I play like extensively these days, is A flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, A flat, C, F, which is extremely untraditional tuning, and there's really no logic behind it either. How it's actually set up is it's just drop tuning, move to E flat, like it starts out in E flat from the 6th string, and then the lowest string is an A flat, so it's like you can bar again, if that makes any sense. Probably not. All you guys are probably super puzzled right now, but it's like so it's like it just bars again the same thing down, but it's in a different key when you bar it on like the 7th and the 6th string than it is in the 6th and the 5th. I made up that tuning when I was like 14 or 15 or something, and it's just one of those stupid things that stick. It just seems to work for whatever reason, and you just don't bother changing it because you're too lazy or ignorant to like anything actually logical. But it's working for me, so I've just kept it alive and refined it, and now it's like a part of me. Again, I think it's just another element of like, you know, adding my like authenticity. What pickups are, there we go, this one. What string and string gauges do you use? I use D'Addario. Like the past like 4 or 5 years, I used Ernie Ball before that, and I use a hybrid 9 to 46 with a low 64, all just nickel wound. What pickups to use and why? These days I just use EMGs. I've tried most of the stuff on the market. Nothing against passive pickups. I think they're phenomenal, and there's probably tons out there that I would enjoy like so much. But I found with EMGs, because I just have nothing but a recording set up, just like pure live, or not live, just bedroom recording setup, right? It's all just digital. So EMGs were like the only option as far as like a really, really refined, crystal pure tone goes. Just super, super clear throughout the monitors, and then slice through the mix like you would not believe. Like EMGs, like, man, they just, oh, they're so good in the mix. At least for me anyway. That's just, maybe I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, but. Thoughts on 8-string guitars? I've had a few back in the day. I used to use them for a little while, but I found that I wasn't really utilizing the 8-string as much as I would have liked to. Sorry, my throat's like super dry right now. It was more so just like a tap it with the thumb and let it ring out as like a huge ambient backscape, low end blown out shit kind of thing. Yeah, I found it just wasn't very musical enough for me, at least how I was applying it. It was kind of like overkill, you know. I found with the 7 strings, I can actually get like musical and really use that 7 string uniquely. What recording program do you use? I use Reaper. It's free, and I started out using that years ago, so again, it's just one of those things that sticks. It does everything I've ever needed it to, so that's that. What is your entire rig? I use a Line 6 Pod HD Pro with a bunch of tones that I've patched through KRK Rocket 8s for a really nice bass response. A PRS 7-string custom 24 loaded with dual white EMG 808s, and then just the iron label with, again, EMG 707s just in the black. And then I've got an Ibanez SR403 or something like that. It's a 5-string bass just with the stock Cat active pickups in it. It does the job, so whatever. I'm not really a bass player. My bass tone is super, super blown out and just use it to highlight root notes anyway, so that's it really. Who are the 2 guys you're always with in your videos? That'd probably be Nick and Gabriel. Nick is just an old friend of mine. We still talk. Yeah, he just used to come over and hang out all the time. Gabriel was actually, he's another old friend of mine too, but he was actually like gonna join the Plague Draven, but again, I didn't need him for anything, so it was kind of pointless. Like, he got the mask and everything. He's always been like a big fan and really close friend, but yeah, if I ever start playing live and whatnot, he's definitely first in line to join the roster for that, just to add like cinematic stability and stage performance and whatnot. Nobody really wants to watch one guy on stage. At least 2 guys in masks makes it a little bit more oddball and more to watch. Why is Gabriel so pretty? Again, I guess just good genes. He's probably got a good-looking dad. Do you use any pedals or effects? Just reverbs, man, really, that's it. A few delays. Yeah, that's it, man. Just delays and reverbs. Aside from that, it's just raw tones. What does your mixing / mastering process look like? There kind of isn't one, honestly. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just record everything. Lots of panning going on, lots of layering going on. As far as the EQing and whatnot goes, it's practically non-existent. The EMGs kind of did that for me, along with the preamp for the Pod HD Pro. There's essentially not really anything needed, especially because there's nothing else going on in the mix besides guitar and bass, so I can just kind of let it sit where it is. I put a 80 Hz high-pass filter on it just to clean up the bass and lower frequencies in the entire mix. Aside from that, that's it, man. Just hard-ass, like 80, anywhere from like 80 to 100% pans on a lot of the layering. And that's it. And then just random tones that are patched on the Pod HD Pro that I've made like over the years. What guitars did you use for the album? Believe it or not, the Iron Label, actually, for like the whole album. The PRS was only done for Frost, and that was back when it had active pickups. So if you listen to Frost, you'll actually notice that there's sort of a lack in consistency among the rest of the songs, or at least in comparison to the rest of the songs on the album. But yeah, the Iron Label, just because it was more clear that PRS is kind of shrill and trebly sounded, kind of weak, maybe something to do with the wood choices of the guitar or whatnot, even though EMBs are active pickups and they're supposed to strip the life out of the guitar. They still sound like kind of like remarkably different from one another. But yeah, I found that the Iron Label was more like full sounding and whatnot, so yeah, I did that. Doesn't tune as well as the PRS though. How long did the album take to record? Believe it or not, the album only took like maybe something like 6 months to record. I could have got the whole thing done in a matter of 2 weeks. I've been procrastinating it for 3 years, so technically it's taken 3 years, but I actually only did the real recording for the album within that 6 months. I've re-recorded the whole album probably like 3 times. It's changed so many times due to like different gear changes, different guitar changes, pickup changes, learning new mixing stuff, which I still don't really know anything about. Everything, really, everything has changed so much, and then even just like not liking some of it, like getting remarkably better at guitar and then listening back to it and being like, oh man, like I can do way better than this, and they're just starting from the drawing board over and over again, probably like a good 3 times. So yeah, but ultimately a good 6 months, and even that, it was still like dragged out. It did not need to be that long at all. I was just busy playing video games and doing other shit. Do you consider yourself humble? Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very, very important quality to have as a musician, especially if you're going to make it anywhere. Whenever I see somebody else playing guitar, I am like the first one to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I just feel like happy about it. Like, yeah, man, like right on, like, encouraging, you know, regardless of their level of, like the caliber that they're on as a player. But, yeah, I'm always extremely supportive, and, even when people praise me, like, yeah, man, you're so good at guitar, how'd you get so good, blah, blah, blah. It's always like the same response, like, man, you can do the same thing. I honestly don't feel like there's any such thing as like being born with a gift and whatnot. I think it's just raw time and practice, man. There's no tricks. There's no tricks. There's no, like, you know, grandma could do the same thing. If she played guitar for 11 years and she focused as hard as I focused, grandma could be doing the same damn thing. And anybody could, really, honestly. I don't believe in, like, natural talents. It's just hard work and practicing the right things. There's so many questions here, man. And I keep losing my place every time I answer one. why did the album take so long? Again, just procrastination. I don't have any excuses. I wish I had some valid excuses, but there's nothing cool, man. I was just playing video games and, like, hanging out with my girlfriend and hanging out with my friends and, like, and just jamming a lot of the time. Most of the time, actually, just jamming, not even, like, recording. I have, like, hundreds of licks recorded in my Reaper, like, archive, but I just never turned any of them into songs until recently. The process of creating recording on a personal level, literally on the spot, I would have to say a good, like, 85% of the album was done on the spot. Literally just, like, I'm gonna record a song, and just open up Reaper, regardless of the level of inspiration that was surging through me at the time. I would just sit there and just, like, noodle something like, hey, that sounds cool, right on, let's record that. Do the same thing. And yeah, there was, like, a few tunes that I had the core of them written from, like, over the years that actually, like, made the cut for the album. And yeah, aside from that, man, it's I don't think there is a process. It's literally just, like, again, back to, like, the caveman Neanderthal, like, here's a guitar, play kind of thing. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Definitely the 100 duck-sized horses, because a horse-sized duck that's big, man. That's really big. 100 small ones would be easy to take out. Will you ever learn music theory? If not, how come? No, I will never, ever, ever learn music theory in my life. I will always stay ignorant to that and stubborn. A lot of people think that it will aid me, but I'm just not interested. It's just one of those things you just know from the bottom of your heart you're not interested in. It's this approach is working for me. I'm happy with where it's getting me. I feel like I'm learning very well without it. It's kind of like being able to talk without being able to write, you know? Like, you just don't understand what you're doing even though you can do it, kind of thing. And you can't teach someone to be creative either, right? So that's my look on it. I get a lot of fire for that one, but yeah, I'm always going to stay pure to that. I kind of want to be living proof that you don't need musical theory to be good at an instrument, which a lot of people will argue. Will anyone else ever join TPR? No. Maybe one day. Like, the only thing I would ever consider is a female vocalist, but even if that ever did happen, there would always be a second rendition of the album that was just pure instrumental, just sticking to my guns and staying along my origin, you know? Aside from that, Gabriel, you never know. He takes a lot of influence in my playing, so, like, if he practiced enough, he would definitely be, like, the first one to be considered. How did you feel after finishing the album? Amazing. It was, like, the greatest milestone of my life ever. I've been procrastinating that for so long, so it was like 1,000 pounds off my chest, and I kind of feel like I beat life. Like, I'd be okay with dying now. I don't want to die, but I would be half okay with it now, you know? Are you endorsed by anything? Have you been offered? I am endorsed right now. I have a guitar in the works right now that I was fortunate enough to design. I can't say anything more than that. I probably shouldn't even have said that, and I hope that he doesn't watch this video just because of that. But yeah, you guys will see it in a year when it's finished. It's going to be massive. Have I ever been offered? No. I mean, the album just landed, so who's going to endorse somebody that doesn't even have any real material out yet, right? What could possibly be the benefit of that? Funny enough, the man who did endorse me actually endorsed me before the album. And he came to me, too, which was, like, unbelievable. That was pretty surreal. What are your plans now that you're done the album? Album 2, man. Merchandise, really. Just scrape up some cash and start doing some t-shirts and sweaters going, because that would be another really cool milestone, regardless of who buys them. I don't even care. I'll wear it. That'd be so cool. Yeah, making a second album. This is literally like 100% for me, man. I've made like not much money at all from the album. In fact, I'm probably like down thousands and thousands from all the music gear that I've spent over the years. Yeah, just take it as far as it goes, really. But whatever happens, even if I'm just a bedroom musician for the rest of my life, that's still whatever, man. That's awesome. Because again, I'm just doing it for me. But having said that, it would be really, really cool to take it around the world and be able to play shows, and you know, that's the ultimate dream. But regardless of what happens, man, I'm already killing it. Will there ever be drums in your music? No, I dicked around with drums in the beginning. It was cool, and it definitely works, but it's just not naturally me. It's not the kind of like vibe or element that I'm aiming for. Well, not even aiming for. It's just not my natural, like origin. You know, I'm a guitar player, and like kind of an emotional guitar player. I kind of like want you to perceive the music however you feel like it should be perceived, you know, but drums kind of adds it. I don't know what I'm talking about, man. It just puts my music in a state where I don't really want it to be. It kind of alters it to something that it really isn't. That's not to say it doesn't work. It sounds cool. It's just not what I want. That's all. So no, probably not. Having said that, it would be really cool to see some people drum to that stuff. That would be amazing. What was your first guitar and amp? I started out with a Fender Squier and some crappy little Ion amp. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I had this like orange metal pedal for a while, and oh god, it was terrible. And then I stepped out from the BC Rich Mockingbird, which was actually pretty damn cool. I missed that guitar. And just a Line 6 Spider 30 watt, which those are cool too. Do you ever plan on playing live? If so, how would you do it? I would start off with me and see how the response with that was going for starters, and probably just set up 2 big PAs on each side of me with a laptop, and play the album from start to finish, or however long my set was, and strip out the primary track of each song, mute that track, and I would be playing that track again in a mask and a scarf and stuff, just to add the whole cinematic element. Yeah, cool, man. And yeah, if that went well, and that was like kicking off pretty well, then I'd probably train Gabriel up to speed and make him like work his damn ass off to get on my level, and get him on stage. He's got the white mask and whatnot, and yeah, that'd be really cool. Are you signed to a label? No, and I don't plan on being signed to one either, unless it was to like a big label that can actually do something for me, you know, that can actually get me on the road. Or again, I would need so much like advice on that kind of stuff from people, though. I don't know anything about like playing live or touring or like financial situations. I've never played a live show in my life, never. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but regardless, I'm totally up for it. And I'll do whatever I need to do to get to that point. But again, even if I don't make it to that point, that's still totally cool. Favorite guitar you've ever owned? Honestly, probably an Ibanez Apex 2. It was it's Monkey signature. It's loaded with dual DiMarzio PAFs. But that guitar is like probably like 18 pounds, man. It's like solid ass mahogany, and I don't know, something about it was just like so metallic, and it was amazing. That guitar was so cool. I miss that thing like crazy. But I think another thing I missed about it like, what I really miss about it is that I was running through the Pod XT Beam instead of the Pod HD Pro. Like, this is the best pod you can get, but that was, like, that one's so freaking old. That thing is so authentic. You can't touch that thing. It's so cool. Like, in a lot of ways, I actually like that thing a lot more than I like the HD Pro. Will the album be available on anything other than Bandcamp? I don't know yet. I haven't really had anybody bug me to put it on any other platforms, but I don't know. I mean, don't be surprised if I do put it on other platforms. Just bug me. Just bug me, guys. Whatever you guys want it on. Like, it'll probably only take, like, 2 or 3 of you guys to, like, ask me to put it on something, and I'll do it, because really, what have I got to lose? Why not? It's just another platform that people are seeing my music, right? So probably, yeah. What are you doing with the money you earned from the album? Everything is being saved right now strictly for merch. I have no idea how to do merch. I don't know where to get it done. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know how to distribute it. Nothing. But I'm going to learn how to do all of it from scratch. So yeah, I'm just banking all that money right now to start merch, because that would be, again, I don't care about the money. I'll spend just as much on the shirts and sell them just to make that exact same amount of money back. I don't even care. I just think it would be the coolest thing ever if people were actually wearing, like, the Plague shirts or sweaters, or even me, if I was wearing it. Like, that'd be so cool. It's just, like, those are some really, really invaluable experiences in life, man, to be, you know. Do you work? Yeah, I work in a cafe, like, just the next city over. Just part-time. Other than that, I'm just at home jamming, and I make a little bit of money from photography too. I do that on the side as another hobby. Thoughts on the Axe-Fx? The Axe-Fx is an amazing unit. I've only tried one for about, like, a good, like, hour. I didn't really dial in anything good within that hour, but you can tell that it's immediately, like, an outstanding unit. I think it's, in comparison to the Line 6 Pod HD Pro, which a lot of people consider to be, like, the little sister of the Axe-Fx, it's kind of like comparing silver to gold, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful unit, I love it, and it's definitely working for me. Especially for the price point, like, the Axe-Fx is thousands more. But again, it's like, I don't think you can beat that, man. Actually, you can't beat that. But yeah, this is working for me, so I'm not complaining, man. Definitely. What other hobbies do you have? I'm a pretty well-rounded guy. I do a lot of cool shit. Photography, definitely. That's a big one. Archery, aquariums, rollerblading. That's so gay. So gay, man. But yeah, rollerblading, stay fit. I don't know. Hanging out with my girlfriend, and that's it, man. Really. Animals? Where do you see your music going? This is the very last question. As far as I can take it, really. Again, wherever it goes, though, I'm already happy with where it's going right now, so it doesn't matter. I've already won, man. So, yeah, I just want to keep making music, that's it. Just want to keep making cool music that I like, and I can listen to, and I can feel proud of. And if other people like it too, that's even cooler, definitely. If I was ever fortunate enough to, like, actually play live and whatnot, like, that would be even more cool. That would be, like, an absolute dream come true. So I'm definitely going to take the steps that I need to do to get to that point, and, like, you know, pray for the best. But if it doesn't happen, that's no hard feelings. And that's everything. So, yeah. Thanks for all the questions, guys, and thanks for all the support. And that's it, man. Catch you later, man.